Mic'd up.
Anything. Welcome to Yankees Coast to Coast with your hosts, me and him.
Can I be him? That's one of my pronouns now. Him.
I'm an it.
Actually, if I had to choose my pronouns, and I'm stealing this from my friend Andrew, but my pronouns would be whatchamacallit and who's a what's And if the school, the school where I work, I don't know why that happened.
I hate that song. I hate that song.
The school where I work wanted all the professors to do a who's a what's this and whatchamacallit. Well, they wanted everybody to do pronouns, and I didn't want to do a pronoun. And people have written, most of the pronouns of which you expect they, him, her, whatever they want it to be. And somebody asked me why I didn't do a pronoun. And I said, because I don't care what you call me. You can call me Mr., Mrs., Ms. I don't care. Whatever you want to call me, just, don't call me late for dinner. And then they said, well, what if they tell you you have to do it? And I said, then I'm going to write down whatchamacallit and who's a what's this. And if somebody says to me, why did you can't do that? I'm going to say, it's my pronouns. I can be what I want to be.
That's exactly right. Be you. You be you, man. That's what they say now. And I do I'm more of a what's his nose.
Yeah, well, I stole mine from my friend Andrew, so.
All right, I like
that's
it.
what I would do.
Go, Andrew, a friend of the show. The show. All right, so we have an interesting. It's an interesting show.
Well, let me do the typical intro. If you want to leave a message for us, please use the microphone at the bottom of the screen. Leave us a 30-second message. As a matter of fact, leave us as many 30-second messages as you want.
Please.
We may or may not. Please leave us messages. We may or may not leave you a message or play your message on the air, but we like to see them and we will play them amongst ourselves. And I know you guys want to talk to Kramer, but he's not back today. At least he's lifelike today, but he's not back today. So today's topic, at least later, is we're going to hope to discuss what's been going on so far the first quarter or third of the season. Since most teams are in the 65 to 70 games stretch here, it's more like a little bit more than a third of the season, I guess. And what are the interesting stories so far this year? We were going to do some strange stuff, but there's not that much strange stuff going on. And of course, what we're going to start with today, like we always do every week, this week in Yankee baseball, the good, the bad, the ugly. So, Adam, why don't we talk about the Dodgers series first? What did you think? What did we learn? What did we see?
I was happy. I mean, I would have liked to see that. That first game was upsetting. Grisham has very few things to do on this team. One thing that he does well that we heard about was he could bunt, and I didn't see it. That was not a professional baseball player's bunt. That was whatever he was doing was not effective. So it bothered me because he loses that lost the game for them. And it really is, because you get that bunt down, you get the man on third, and then you win the game walk-off style. So it's an opportunity because they walked away. They were able to blank them in the top of the 10th. So to me, it was a real waste. So that bothered me. The next game, I don't even care about. I didn't even see it. I don't know anything about it. I just heard it was bad.
You didn't see it? It didn't happen? Is that what you're saying?
That's how I live it. Out of sight. I call it the out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. And so I did not see it. I heard it was terrible. So I'm happy just to read my colleagues online tell me how bad it was. And that was enough. The next game, great. Nice comeback. Nice holding at the end. I thought it was good. I thought they handled it. It was a really nice Sunday night game. So I'm pleased.
Tightrope.
Yeah, tightrope, absolutely. And that's how they win. They win a lot of those games. They play a lot of them. Lost one today. Yeah. But I felt it was good. What about you, my friend?
Well, the things I took away is, boy, is Judge good. It's
What do you
out of
think they
control.
think of Judge? That's what I want to ask. What do you think other teams think of Judge?
Well,
Not just
Otani,
what
they
the
did that interview with Otani, which was he said he learns something from Judge every time he sees him. Obviously, I hope it's not gambling. But Otani says he sees, he learned something, and he goes, he can't. Every time he sees him, he can't get over how big he is. And Otani's not a small guy; he's like 6'4", and he's a good
Mhm.
230, 230, 240, something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's interesting that Otani would say that. Um, and they miss Soto. It's clear that the whole lineup reconstruction without Soto impacts. Well, it didn't seem to impact Judge. I don't know why, but it impacts Volpe and it impacts Verdugo. Rizzo wasn't hitting before; he wasn't hitting after, but it impacts Stanton, and then it has a ripple effect down
Hmm.
the lineup. So, the Soto being missing. Do I think he was the difference in the series? Not in the second game. Um, how much of a difference would he made in the first game? I don't know. Grisham is Grisham. He's not going to play every day for the team. We'll see what happens. Um, Starting pitching, again, unbelievable. Their starting pitching is insane. I don't know how you can talk about their starting pitching. Every one of their starters, including little
Poteet,
Poteet, even
little
little
Bo Teet.
Bo Poteet, they all have an ERA under 3. Schmidt, Poteet, Stroman, Rodon. Who am I forgetting?
And heel,
Not
heel.
Cortez. And Heel. Thank
Not
you. And Cortez is the only one who does it. And even he's at like 3.68 and went down today because he pitched into the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yep.
the starting rotation is just out of control good. They are by far the best starting rotation that the Yankees have had in a long time. And no Garrett
They don't
Cole.
even have the man, and
No.
he's coming back. I think he's pitching tonight.
Right. The only starters that you could argue are better than them right now are the Mariners, perhaps. The Mariners and the Phillies average, I think, 5.7 innings per start, and the Yanks are 5.4. But other than that, it's the Mariners and the Yankees at the top of every single list. And here's one that'll surprise you. The Yankee starting pitchers are averaging more pitches per game than any other team in baseball.
Wow. Think
You,
about how many years we've been saying that that's not the case. How many years we've been saying that they rely too heavily on the bullpen, push these guys too far, or not far enough, and then they get dumped on. Then they get burned later in the season because their bullpen is tired. That's great. I'm telling you, everything about this team is clicking. It is fun to watch. Today's loss, I hope, was an outlier. I think it is a sign of bad things to come. We'll talk about that a little later. But I think that as far as pure performance, everybody is doing what they need to do. Um, and
I
they
don't agree
just,
with that.
well, not everybody. Who do you think needs to be doing better? Uh-oh,
Rizzo,
you froze. Well, Rizzo, I think Rizzo has benefited from this time because the pressure hasn't been on him to do more. Imagine if this team was 500 or 3 to 5 games over 500 and not 25 over, and how what the pressure would be on this team to have on Rizzo to be doing more than he's doing. It's because they're doing so well and the offense is so strong around him that he gets away with it. But it's just upsetting because you see a guy who has had such a sudden decline since his injury last year. He's a different guy than he was just before it, and that's hard to watch.
I
You
agree.
know,
But I
and the
also,
first base and the play at first is not as good. It's not as
no,
crisp. He
he
still
doesn't
makes
look.
it great. He's still the best scoop in the game. There's no way he scoops everything. He's
I don't
been
agree with you. I don't think he's scooping as well this year, and I also
really.
think his footwork's not as good. And quite frankly, we're all thinking Verdugo is really, really good, and Verdugo's been fine. But that's all he's been is fine. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do, which is
Yeah,
so much better than we got out of Joey Gallo and
yeah.
John
Well, he's a
Stockton
compliment.
and all
He's
these
a
other guys.
compliment.
So it helps. But that's fine. And then of course Stanton is still Stanton, and he hasn't gotten hurt yet. So he's got the home runs and the RBIs, but he's not
That's
supposed
it.
to hit 235. It's just
Hmm.
he's not a two. It's not what it is. And then of course DJ's only been back a couple of weeks, and Right now, he's up and down, so you got to give him more time. And Trevino's been good offensively, like he was the first half of last year. And Wells is showing signs of life. So,
I think the thing that's surprising me about LeMay is how much he's striking out so
oh,
early.
killing me.
He didn't strike out before. When he came to the Yankees, he was billed and in his first couple of years as a hit machine, but also he made contact. So 11 strikeouts and 42 at bats, a little bit more than you'd expect at this point from somebody like him. But what can we do?
Yeah, it's up to 11 and 47 plate appearances, right? So that's
Mm,
just, that's just not, it's what he's become, though.
yeah.
I mean, if you look at his career stats, that's what he's sort of become.
Mm.
The
So
last
yeah, you're right. It's 40. Is it 47? Am I
it's
not
40, I
seeing?
think it's 47 plate appearances. I don't know. My stats could be a game behind from today,
No,
but
I got 42, and I don't know if they picked up the day today. Today's game.
oh
Did he
no, I
play?
have 30. I have 39, and
Yeah,
you have 42. So yours. What are you looking at? I'm looking at Baseball Reference.
MLB.
Yeah, I'm looking at Baseball Reference. So you're probably ahead of me. Reference has to wait. But last year he struck out 125 times and 497 at bats and 562 plate appearances. 71 and 467, which isn't too bad. 94 and almost 600 at bats. So yeah, I mean he's on a torrid strikeout pace right now,
Mm,
and that's not what you want out of him. But batting him down at the bottom, it is what it is.
mm,
The other thing is like I said, Stanton hasn't gotten hurt yet, which I am pretty much convinced the Yankees were sure he would be hurt by now because the Dominguez got activated yesterday and sent down yesterday,
yeah,
and that's not a bad thing. I mean, it can't hurt him to get more at bats in the minor leagues, but his rehab at bats, I mean, he's hitting like 380 and hitting
mm,
bombs. So I don't know how
yeah.
much there is for him to do there.
All right, they have to, and this is the problem. They've got to find a way to make that work. I mean, of course, it's going to work out. Something's going to happen. I hate to say it, but something always does. But I don't want this to be. Starting this at dinner the other night with the guys from our team, with Michael Sherman and Steve Carroll and friends of the show. Um, and we were just saying how you know something's going to happen, no question. But what we don't want to happen, the worst case would be he just Myers in the minors and pulls up. They pull a Florio on him.
If he comes up now, what is he going to do? He's going to
No,
sit.
I mean,
He's going to play, like
but
Grisham. And I want that. I'd rather him be down in the minors.
I don't believe it. I think if they brought him up, they'd find a way to make him play. They'd have him play.
Who are you going to
But
sit?
I don't think that, and they're not going to. But they're not going to bring him up because of that. Because they don't. They know that having a Meyer on the bench would be a mistake. But having
Right.
him in the minors is bad too. So there's got to
I
be.
the minors is a better option. I mean, Stanton or Judge. Judge's injuries have not been like injury prone type injuries. I mean, last year with the
Weird stuff.
stepping on the fence and getting
Weird
hit
shit.
by a pitch, those are strange injuries. When he has an oblique or something like that, then maybe we could start talking about it. But he really doesn't have those. But Stanton's going to get hurt, although he's doing a very good job of not moving his body.
He doesn't work hard enough. The only thing he hits are home runs, and all he has to do is jog slowly and carefully, as if he's at a golf game. It's not
And
like
take
he's
his
like
hand
on
off.
his way back to his ball. He's running to his ball. It's not a. It's a soft saunter around the bases. How can you get hurt sauntering? And so I'm not really worried about that. He doesn't play the outfield. Can't get hurt there. What's going to happen? It'll be a rib cage. It'll probably be something like that. I hate to say this. God, we're such assholes. Oops. Please, please. It's a family show, but we have to say that he's gonna something's gonna happen. It's just not. It's never been the case
And
where he.
Verdugo has an injury history too. So,
I
yeah,
love it. I disagree with you. I think that I don't know if I disagree. I think you deserve. You're calling him what he is, and I think that that's great. I think what he is exactly what the Yankees need. They need a good left fielder, a
right,
solid contact man, doesn't
right.
strike out. He's got 8 strikeouts this year. No. This I'm sorry, I'm looking at the
He's
wrong
got
date.
8 home runs this year.
He's
He's
got eight
got
home runs.
2 walks and 38 strikeouts.
38 strikeouts. So that's
Right.
that's
I mean, yeah, I
relatively
mean,
low.
he's exactly what he's supposed to be. He's doing what he's supposed to be. He's solid. He's a good fielder. Although there was a couple of plays this week that I thought, oh my God, I thought Verdugo would catch that. But his OPS plus is 109, which is he's just above league average, which is great.
10% above league average. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
that's what he's supposed to be career wise. That's what that's pretty much what he is career wise. You know,
The
his OPS plus for his career is 106. He's 109 this year.
yeah,
So
I mean
yeah, I
that's
mean I'll take it. Don't get me wrong. It's anything's better than Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks. You know what I mean?
and who
And
else? Who else was in left field last year? How about Billy McKinney? that and that was just scary stuff
what was the
last
other
year.
guy's name? He's on Milwaukee now. Bowers.
Bowers, who hit a
Oh
ball.
man,
They
what
hit
a
a ball.
parade of crap that was.
It was a parade of crap. There
So
was. So, but I feel real good. You can't feel bad about this. They're fun. They're fun team. Um, they Soto and Judge just
insane.
unbelievable. We were talking about this before. Are they the best 2-3 hitters in a generation? I mean, can you think of anybody? I can't think of any Yankee, really any Yankee combo. We had Munson, we had Reggie. They never, you know, they synced a couple times in 70, 78, I'd say. But Munson and Reggie were never those two guys. I mean, when I say 2-3, the 3-4 of our day is now
Just back to
2-3.
back hitters in the lineup.
That's a better way to look at it. And I just can't think of anybody since really probably Mantle and May and Maris, where the Yankees had that kind of power and that kind of explosiveness.
You have that the 1 year where Winfield and Mattingly battled for the batting title.
That was
But that's
a great.
and right now it's fair to say Soto and Judge aren't even a full season, so
Yeah, maybe.
we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I think the potential for them is greater than the Mattingly Winfield
Yeah.
season.
Well, it's sustainable
Didn't you
too
have the
if
O'Neill?
they
Didn't you
stop.
have an O'Neill Tino Martinez ridiculous season where O'Neill led the league in hitting and Martinez had a ridiculous RBI championship?
98, I think, was the year
Yeah,
where you had
that team was just insane. And then you got Bernie Williams. I mean, that depth of that lineup was better than the depth of this lineup, only because right now, sitting at the bottom of the lineup right now, you've got LeMahieu, the catchers,
Mhm.
and the bottom of that lineup was just Scott Brocious, who hit 300. So what
Yeah,
can you do?
what a surprise that was. Um, so great stuff. What more can we say? What can we expect? I'd love them to be a little bit further ahead of Baltimore because I do think Baltimore is the powerhouse. They're just sort of waiting for the Yankees to have a slump, and the Yankees haven't had one yet this year. Knock on
Well,
wood.
the big thing with Baltimore, I think, we'll get to this a little later, but one of the things with Baltimore is two of the players that are top 25 prospects, including the number one overall prospect in Holiday, they came up and both of them stunk.
How's Holiday doing in the minors?
He's not doing what he was doing last year, but he's still good. I mean, I can look him up real quick and see what's going on, but they were counting on him and what's the other guy's name? Hersted Chosted or whatever his name is, who's batting 143. He batted 143. And he's not doing anything. They had to send him down too.
Yeah, it can be bad to do that. Sometimes bringing these guys up too early, they don't do as well so quickly. We got
Right,
lucky.
and you also have the fact that they had two pitchers out for the season.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think they're going to do at the deadline? Because I don't think they're liking Kimbrel at all. So they're going to go. You think they're going to go after Hader, even though Hader hasn't been that great?
Hader's not going anywhere.
Because you think that why? Because Houston still thinks they can win.
Well, of course they can. I mean, it's one of the things I wanted to talk about later. But with regard to Hader's not going anywhere. He's just not. So he's hitting, just so you know, Jackson Holiday's hitting 270, 430 on base, 466. So he's having a good year, but it's not as good as the 396, 522, 660
Mm.
that he was at single A. And last year at triple A, he was at 338, 421, 488, 940. So he's good in triple A, but not as good as he was. But, it is what it is. He's a young guy. He's only 20. So
Mm-hmm.
who knows? Getting back to our friendly New York Yankees, uh, I think we're both on the same page here. The bullpen scares the bejesus out of us.
Yeah. No strikeout. There's no swing and miss out there. Not
Well,
enough. I
not enough.
like Weaver. I like
Weaver,
Weaver.
but like every other bullpen piece that the Yankees seem to resurrect, you got to wait for the glass slipper to break. I mean, pretty soon he's going to turn into a pumpkin. Look at Hamilton. Hamilton is a pumpkin right now, right?
Yeah.
Caleb Ferguson was supposed to come in here and be a good left-hander. He seems to have pumpkined out. Maybe the Dodgers knew what they were doing when they gave up on him. And obviously, the Yankees were thrilled with Santana through the first, 50 games. Bye-bye. He's now gone,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you
So,
called that. You couldn't believe he
yeah,
was.
I mean, Ferguson, out of the three guys, those three guys, Ferguson's the most surprising to me that he's going back to the mean because he's got a bigger track record. Now we got Marinaccio back. Do we hope? Do we pray? And I'm sorry, love Tompkin and his mustache,
Jesus.
but come
Mr.
on,
80s porn star. You gotta love it. It looks just like
he's not.
cracks me up.
Yankees really count on him to be what he's been.
Probably not.
No. So the question then becomes, do the Yankees then reach? They have guys in the minors, right? So they have some pitchers in the minors. Specifically, Urendris Gomez. He came up, pitched one game for the Yankees, faced three batters, struck them all out. They sent them back down. Is that a guy that deserves a shot? I would say, even though he's a starter in the minors, he deserves a shot. They're going to
Yeah,
need the multi-inning bullpen guy because
you're right.
Weaver, they need it. They had Hamilton and Weaver at the start of the season. Now they only have Weaver.
And it seems also that Tommy Conley, that Canley really
Yeah,
is kind of he's that he's out of the circle of trust. It seems.
he should be out of the circle of trust. He's pitching like he did for the Dodgers after the Yankees let him walk the first time.
Mhm.
And even Nelson said it yesterday, which is something you, me, and Doc Osti have been talking about for a while, is he's got a 96, 97 mile an hour fastball and an 89, 90, 91 changeup, and he keeps throwing the changeup. You got to throw the fastball.
Mhm.
So, you know, he's out of the circle of trust.
Do they
Marinaccio,
like Victor Gonzalez? Do they like Victor? He's not doing bad.
he's
He's got.
he's not doing badly, but he was not the prime guy in the Dodger trade. It was Ferguson.
Mhm. Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
they're both better than Ramirez was last year, and even Kramer would admit to that.
Mhm.
Kramer wants another lefty in the pen because he really hates those two guys. But you know, Ferguson is just really disappointing, and Gonzalez is Gonzalez.
I
They
call
also
the guy.
have
Let me look at the numbers. Uh, Gonzalez, 19 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts.
right. He's
Tommy
just
Canley, 6.15 strikeouts.
right.
Um,
Well, look at the whips too. That's the
but
thing about Holmes that's bothering me is his whip is over 1.2. You can't have a reliever with a whip of 1.2 coming into every game, which means there's a base runner or more on every time he pitches.
Holmes is at 1.3 after today.
Right. So you
That
can't.
is, can you freaking believe that? With a 263 batting average against, which
That's
that
what's killing him.
yeah.
And I still think he doesn't know where the ball's going. He's better than he was when he got here, but it seems it takes him. He goes off the rails with throwing strikes for two and
Yeah, he's
three.
already got four blown saves. I mean, you know, it's just it's not working. I see it, and if you listen to them talk about him, and you listen to the guys on Yes, it's like they're looking at the number, the 19 saves, and they're saying, he's leading the league in saves. He's barely given up any runs. He's given up 6 earned runs this season. You know, he's been perfect. No, it's like look behind the scenes. There's something missing from his arsenal.
Right. And
And
and what they're also looking at, and this is we might be missing it because of our Mariano Chapman eyes, is the Yankees are third in the league in save percentage at 74%.
Mm-hmm.
Being third in the league in save percentage is terrific. Of course, we're coming off all those years before Holmes and before Chapman's last season with the Yankees. We're coming off all those years where the Yankees led the league in save percentage and it was over 80.
Frickin' Mo.
Yeah, he ruined it for everybody. The damn guy was so good, he ruined it for everybody.
Frickin' Mo.
Ruined it for everybody, Mo. But that's it. The other thing is the Yankees are in the middle of the pack, about 10th in baseball, with 32% of inherited runners scoring. That's a weird stat, but still, most relievers now come in with a clean inning. So, allowing a third of the guys that are on base to score is not a good thing. I mean, Hamilton was bad at that last year. Anybody who was on base when Hamilton came in was scoring last year, it seemed. And this year he's picked it up where he left off. But last year he was able to recover on the innings where he started fresh. How long Weaver can do what he's doing is beyond my understanding. Beater's on the IL. Originally, when he came over from the Dodgers, they thought he might be a closer in waiting. He's not. They have him in as a starter now. It's I don't know who they have that can close. When you look at the guys that are down at the minors,
how about a trade?
Well, trade, but there's no out there. Who's out there? The only guy that might be out there, and he's not going to be out there as long as the Reds are in the race, is going to be Diaz's brother, right? And the Reds right now, 2 games below 500. But if you start looking at the wild card stuff, it's a little early to start looking at this stuff. But look at the wild card stuff. They're a half a game out of the last wild card. They're not going to start giving away players.
Okay. All right. So let's look at it. Let's go. Let's open up all the opportunities. Here's a thought that will never happen, but wouldn't it be interesting? I know they're saying they're not going to be they're using the eye test, but Luis Hill basically wants to, we're 2 months down the road. He's at 175 innings. They're beginning to get nervous. He's looking tired. Move him to the bullpen for the stretch run. We've got everybody back. Schmidt's back. We've got Cole back. Put him in the bullpen. Does he become your closer for the stretch run? Could you imagine it?
Does he become your closer, or does he become Jabba Chamberlain?
Like your main weapon in the bullpen.
Or is he Jabba Chamberlain?
Well, that was your eighth inning guy.
Right. I mean, granted, that was still Rivera, but is it Jabba Chamberlain, Phil Hughes when they went to the bullpen, where he's he could be a multi-inning guy. Because I think that they're going to have to. I'm worried about Weaver. Not that he's not pitching well, but all these guys revert to the mean. Hopefully, it's not till after this season with Weaver, but they don't. They have one very, very effective relief pitcher right now, and that's Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
Holmes is a tightrope, and none of the other guys. Well, Tonkin has been great since he's been back with the Yankees, but none of these guys have jumped off the page. I mean, even Marinaccio. Think about Marinaccio early last season and in 2022. The man was unhittable, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, this year he's been good.
Off a cliff. Right now, Weaver's right now Marinaccio from 2 years ago.
But Marinaccio now with the Yankees, he's at a 1.8 ERA. He's got 13 strikeouts in 15 innings. He's as close to a guy who can strike somebody out as anybody they've got out there. I mean, they just don't have anybody who I just want somebody to come in and be able to blow someone away late in the game, because it's going to become harder. And when they get into that playoff situation, I don't want them. You can't win a World Series with a closer with a 1.3 to 1.5 whip. It just ain't going to work. Yeah, you can't. So
I think the whip is the scariest thing to me.
Yeah, I'm with
because you never know when he's going to start walking guys too. I mean, it's bothersome. Marinaccio's walked 6 guys in 15 innings, so that's a little bit of a worry. But that's always been a worry.
He hasn't given up any hits.
No,
he doesn't give his whip is below 1.8.
Yeah.
So he's not giving up any hits at all. So
I mean,
that's oh
always
wait a minute, he did give up 2 home runs. So it's
yes,
interesting. He's from 6 hits, 2 of them are home runs,
yeah,
and he's hit 2 guys. That's funny.
yeah.
All
So
right.
it's eight guys with free passes on the bases. The Yankees have historically always had, even with Rivera, they've always had three very strong relief pitchers, the closer and two setup guys. Right now, they have a closer who's not nearly as good as, obviously, but nobody is as good as Chapman or Rivera. And their setup guy right now is Weaver, but he doesn't have the track record that other guys have had, like a Chad Green had, or David Robertson has, or where is David Robertson this year? Is he in Miami?
He's with the. I can answer that question very
Because that could
quickly.
be the answer to our question right there.
Why not for a fifth time? A fifth trip to the Yankees. I've got him with the. Hold on, come on.
Is he with the Phillies?
He is. He's with the Rangers, Texas Rangers,
There you go.
and
So
he
maybe
is
the
not doing well. He's got his ERA is well over 3.5. 1.07 WHIP. Actually, he's 2-3 with 1 save. Comes in, he's there.
107 whip, which means it's, I mean, you have to look when a guy's
Better than
got ERA, you got to look, especially as a reliever, was it one or two outings that were just bad? You know what I mean? Is there one blow up outing that just totally throws his
yeah,
ERA?
5
Wow.
against Colorado. In Colorado, he gave up 4 runs, and that's his only bad outing all year. One
There's
bad outing, and then another one where he wasn't great against Minnesota. So that's it. But he, for the most part, has been unhittable.
right.
Very, very good
So the
all
question is,
season long.
do the Yankees, if the Rangers stay where they are, do the Yankees reach out to the Rangers? At
Yeah.
worst case scenario, is he becomes your second setup guy if you're going to keep Holmes. And if Holmes really falters, Robertson has the mentality that he can close. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to put Luke Weaver as the closer who's never done it before down the stretch. You're taking a guy who was the closer for playoff teams, for the Yankees, for the Phillies, and for others, and putting him in the closer position. And
Mm-hmm.
that might actually be a guy that they could target. And, if the Rangers are out of it, if for some reason Scherzer doesn't come back, even though he's pitching very well in the minors, and the rest of their team continues to struggle, they have a young stud who can't seem to get out of his own way as well, offensively. So
Yeah.
that's the guy that potentially could be the guy they target, even though he's 802 years old. I mean, he's the same age as Joe Austin.
Poor Joe. Poor Joe. Trying to get out. The worst thing is watching Joe get out of the chair last week. I was like, Joe, come on,
Oh,
man.
that was painful.
I know how he's. I know how he feels. I had 4 stolen bases the other day in our game, and I scored 4 runs and a lot of total bases. I am still hurting. I was slow in our practice yesterday. I'm still feeling it from like 3 days after the fact. I like getting on base once a game. Thank you. Once a game, and then I go home
I
and I'm happy.
my left hamstring is still tight a little bit, but I've played golf the last 2 days, not today, Wednesday and Tuesday, and then for Father's Day, since I'm not going to be around this week, and for Father's Day we went to Top Golf. So in essence, I played golf 3 times this week.
Good
And
God, must be tough.
well, I did some walking, while I play golf, so that helps, gets
That is
the
good.
going. And
Do you
then
want to play? You want to make a transition over to our next topic by
yeah, I
leading
think
off
it's a
what
good
Robbie
time.
has to say? You want to see what
Let's
Robbie has?
let's see what Robbie has to say. Let's do this first. Everybody on the Mic'd Up app. There's several shows on the Mic'd Up, including one that's coming up today
Very
at
special.
11. I believe it's at right after our show. It says 5 p.m. So maybe it says 8 p.m. So maybe it's 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 Eastern. But Rick Barry is doing a show today. I encourage everybody to listen. He's got a lot to say. He said he's going to talk today about Jerry West and the basketball playoffs. And I think that'll be very interesting to say. He's a contemporary of Jerry West. The two of them had that same competitive fight where they just refused to let their teams lose and did everything in their power to make sure that they didn't lose. And I'm sure Rick Barry will have a lot to say about the NBA Finals. And I've asked a couple of questions on their show regarding Jerry West, and another one regarding what a player like he felt like in the playoffs with regard to pressure from outside sources. Obviously, you have our friends at the Highlights from Lowlifes who are on every
Ooh.
day. And those shows are also available on tape if you go into the Mic'd Up app and go into the previously section, where you'll see not only all of their shows and previous shows, but all of our previous shows, as well as on our YouTube page. For those of you that are interested, just go to Coast to Coast Yankees on YouTube and you'll get to our channel, because I've effectively closed down the people who chose to try and challenge our trademark
Nerve.
name.
The Nerve. Are they gone?
I can't find them anymore, so I think they changed.
You
We have
scared the big
our
pieces.
name is trademarked, and it is visible on the YouTube page, on our Facebook page, on our LinkedIn page, on
Did you
our
actually trademark it?
yes,
You went
absolutely.
very good.
TM right next to it.
I'm very well.
All you
I
got to do.
the PM next to anything. I,
That's actually all you have to do in the interim while papers are being filed is trademark it. Done. One of the few IP things I know as a wannabe former attorney.
Thank God. Thank
So
God. That's what we hired you for.
I a letter. It was a very polite letter, but it was that, and I sent it to them and said, "Hey, you're using a name that's trademarked," and they were using Yankees Coast to Coast with the two, just like us.
Wait, really pissed because that was mine. That was my edition.
That was yours. I was very
gave the two, and I really don't like that they use that. The Nerve.
right. So anyhow, get back.
They weren't any good. They sucked too. I listened to their stuff. They were Met fans. I think they just messed with us. They were going on, and it was like an anti-Yankee show. It was terrible.
They were not exactly. Listen, I don't know that we can refer to ourselves as totally objective, but those guys were just not.
They sucked. We were very good. We're listen in our little universe of 8 people here listening to our show. People they look up to us. They have a responsibility to our.
Well, they're very short, so they look up to us. That's the only reason, because we're not very tall.
We do have a lot of small men on this in this podcast.
You know what they say.
Let's play our friend
Anyhow,
Robbie.
let's play Robbie. Here we go. Robbie's playing.
Robbie from the Highlights from Lowlife show here. Hey, is it just me? I'm looking for your opinion. It seems like a lot more guys are getting hit by pitches this year than in previous years. As a Giants fan, it seems like our pitchers are hitting a lot of guys. So I'm curious to see if that's something you're experiencing as well.
Well, let me answer first, Robbie. I think in our league, guys are getting hit more than they used to, but I think that's because we all stink and the batters are not able to get out of the way. But I did some quick research because I did look at because it wasn't a trivia question. I did read through your comment and I did some research, and hit by pitches in all of baseball are actually going up every year. There was a spike in 2018 and we seem to still be going up, but not at the same pace that it went up in 2018. So when you say your Giants, who I don't like to watch because I'm not a fan of Krupp and Kipe. Kruk and Kipe? I don't know. They're more like Krupp to me. But anyhow, or John Miller for that matter. I do like Fleming. They are up. And when I pulled the hit by pitch leaders, I was so shocked at how many hit by pitches some of these guys have. There was a guy, I think it was Ty France, got hit 34 times last year. That's a lot of hit by pitches.
Well, it's where these guys stand also. I mean, a lot of these guys, that's part of their game. They stay very close, stand close, like that woman fantasy camp that I hit twice.
That was because you claim her stomach was hanging over the plate.
Standing right over the plate is very, very hard. It's very likely that you're going to get hit. I mean, that's part of Rizzo's thing. He's got that back foot he's got the open stance, and he's got that back foot literally on the corner of home plate. And you're going to take a lot of heat in the midsection.
So last year Ty France got hit 34 times and Pete Alonso 21. That seems like a real high number to me. And Andres Jimenez the year before got hit 25 times. I don't understand why you're hitting the punch.
I think that the guys are trying to get they're trying to fight off the outside pin. I think a lot of these guys stand closer because they know that their weakness is the outside, is the slider. So they stay close as they have a little bit more reach across the plate. And also, frankly, these guys are coming throwing 170 miles an hour now, so they don't know where it's going. You said it yourself. Holmes has no idea where it's throwing.
Yeah, Holmes doesn't know where it's going.
So
If you're a right-handed batter,
it's a great point, Robbie. You're absolutely right. I've seen it more than ever, and I think it's a combination of what's happening with the way guys are trying to protect against the outside stuff, and also the fact that these guys are just it's pedal to the metal every time.
and I think the body armor, makes them more brave about standing closer to the plate.
Yep.
And
Bingo.
Bonds didn't stand on top of the plate. He wore all the body armor because everybody was trying to throw the ball on his fists, even though he's the guy that wore more body armor than anybody. But he didn't stand that close to the plate, but he knew everybody was going to pitch him inside, so he protected himself. Plus, when you take steroids, I think you bruise more easily. Anyhow, but Rizzo stands on top of the plate, and he's led the National League in hit by pitch 3 out of 5 years from 15 to 19, and is not in the neighborhood of Ron Hunt, but he's going to get up there pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And guys like Holmes and other hard throwers don't have the control. Mariano Rivera and even K-Rod when he was a closer, all those guys in their prime, they were absolutely guys who had better control. You had to have that kind of control, but you also had to have a strikeout pitch. Now, as we talked about with the Yankees, the hard throwers don't necessarily have a strikeout pitch because everybody's ready for 95 when it's flat. You got to have some cut, some movement on the pitch. And Holmes has a ton of movement. And that's the problem is a right-handed hitter can't be comfortable because everything he throws just bears in on righties. He has figured out how to hit the inside corner for the lefty or the outside corner for the righty,
right.
or he just can't. I think there's a lot of factors in it, but I think the stats also back up with what Robbie says. There are a lot more hit by pitches in both Major League Baseball and in an old fart man baseball league. I had a pitcher, matter of fact, Dennis Acevedo complained that I stand right on top of the plate. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he's like, well, why do you do that? I go, because I can hit the inside pitch and I got to cover the outside corner, especially with our umpires and their strike zone being 3 balls on either side of home plate. So you stand on top of the plate for a purpose. You turn on the fastball, and all these guys could turn. All these guys could turn on 97, 98. It's just the movement, and they all are brave. I don't know that I could stand in there.
Right. Well, maybe
get
because
nervous batting against Nelson. In camp, I would be nervous against batting against Nelson.
That's right. So, it was scary, and he broke a couple arms. He broke Lloyd's arm.
Yeah, he broke Lloyd's arm.
But
Lloyd broke a couple of people's hearts. The ladies' man that he is.
He is, man. He's a handsome feller. Lloyd.
So stories. What do you think is the biggest story so far in 24?
You know what it is? Obviously, the gambling thing is a big story, but it's being pacified and put aside. And guys are taking the heat. Apparently, David. Have you heard about this guy, David Fletcher? He's he's involved with Shohei's interpreter. He's been known to gamble.
Is he a former player, David Fletcher, or is he a different?
Yes, he is a utility guy of the Angels, who's now a $6 million a year knuckleballer for the Atlanta AAA team, and he's now heavily under investigation. So I think there's no question that the gambling story is a big one, more of an outlier. It's just you don't really hear about it very often. But these guys are getting dinged for their involvement, and it's only going to get bigger. I think there's probably a lot of guys that have been messing around here on the margins here and are going to get caught. And
they're prohibited from betting on baseball, but they're not prohibited from betting on football, are they?
No, baseball.
No, they can't bet on anything when they're in the clubhouse. They're not allowed. Big sign, right. No gambling in the clubhouse, but we all know they play cards. That's right. Gambling, as far as I know, when you play cards for money. But
gambling on team.
I think they're allowed to play. I mean, obviously, didn't Grisham punch Jock Peterson in the face over fantasy football? That's gambling.
That's I'm sure that is acceptable in whatever. I just think that what we're talking about is betting on baseball, and
Yeah,
that's
I think the fact that
you know, is
Otani's out of
incredibly
the news,
stupid.
even with these four guys who just got suspended, three for a year and one for life, that Otani's name doesn't creep back into the story other than like a little footnote. It's just odd to me. There's just something missing from that story. And if David
Yeah,
Fletcher, who with the Angels, gets in trouble and he's a
with
little
the
bit of
A's,
a snitch, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, the Angels were also
and
the
that's
team.
really
Didn't
what's
the guy died from an overdose of cocaine? The pitcher for the Angels, and there was a whole
what
big
was it?
problem with the Angels training staff or assistant trainer or clubby or somebody. I don't remember who it was, but it was somebody who was employed by the Angels was the one that fetched the drugs for the guy. So it's the Angels seem to have a little bit of loosey goosey stuff. Now Mike Scioscia was the manager when the guy died, and then obviously the gambling stuff has been going on for the last few years, and
Mm,
they've had different managers over the last few years.
yeah,
And perhaps the goosiness is one of the reasons that the Angels are just not good, that their clubhouse is just
yeah.
discombobulated as well as their front office. So
The
the other
thing
big,
that's
the
weird
other,
this year. Go ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was just saying that, like to me, the oddity of the year has been the performance of a lot of the teams. Um, that you expected to do better, and the fact that we are about to have a historic loser. We may have somebody challenging the 62 Mets. The fact that you've got Chicago has now lost four in a row, and two of their last eight of their last 10 are now 17 and 52 with a 246 percentage already. This is incredible. It's June. It's not Father's Day. They are almost 30 games out of first place. In a and you've only got the Guardians at 10 over 500, or well, not 20 over 500. So that's pretty good. But it's insane that they could be this far out. So what happened to the White Sox? What happened to the White
Well,
Sox?
the White Sox are on pace to win 55 games this year.
So
50,
that's
which
just
is
ahead of the Mets.
as bad as the A's were last year, and as bad as the White Sox were last year. So
So 50, no, is it really 55? No.
yeah, 25.
55 would give them
Figure it's
100.
25% of the games. So they're going to win. They're going to
They're
win.
already halfway there. They're halfway to 100 already. And they've got,
Yeah.
if you win 60, if you lose 100 games, you win 60. You know, if you lose 100 games, you win 60.
Well,
They've already
25.
lost 52. They're only in 17.
They're winning 20. They're
They're,
winning 25% of their games. Their winning percentage is 2.246, rounding to 25. That means for 100 games they only win 25, and for 60 games that means they win 60 times 6 times. I have a math wrong. It's 37
why we
games.
went to Mets. This is why we all
37.
both went to Mets.
I was told there'd be no math on this podcast. I am not a happy camper.
All right. It is
I have to
bad
do
and it's
math.
getting worse.
It's
Their run differential. Their run differential is 150.
they're on a pace to win. Sorry, they're on a pace to win 41 games.
That's what I'm saying.
Use the
55 was
calculator.
way too good.
I used the
So
calculator.
they are challenging the 62 Mets. So if things get worse, just a little bit worse than they are right now, which often happens. Now it's also possible they could turn it around and they could start playing better. But this is historic badness. And 150, negative 150 runs already. They've only scored 211 runs. They are, let's just see what this means. Oh, I can't get it to toggle for runs scored. MLB, what a crappy website. Can you do it? Are you able to see
What do
who's
you
got
want?
the worst? So the White Sox have 211 runs scored this year. Nobody's even close. The A's have 250. Marlins have 241. So they are 30 runs behind the next worst team in terms of runs scored. They've given up 361 runs already. Give an example, the Yankees are 232 at this point. They've already given up 130 runs more than the Yankees, only this far into the season. It's just, that scares me. That's like something's wrong. And that's the thing I could say right now. There are a lot of bad teams in baseball right now. and that seems to be that's a real odd thing.
You think the White Sox win? They shouldn't win very many games with 211 runs scored and 360 allowed.
They're going to win.
Bad
They're going to
thing?
win a lot of games. That's my point. I don't think that they're going to win any games at that point. It's amazing that they win it all.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll look at other teams. The A's. The A's aren't so bad. The A's are having a 26-44. You know, that's a representative season. They're not far behind They could overtake the Angels this year. You know, how about that?
Well, the A's are at 250 scored and 332 allowed.
That's terrible, but that's terrible. But it's not. But it's amongst all the last place teams.
The A's are playing more competitive games than they've been playing last season. And, you know, the Angels are now troutless. They have no fish, which can't make them better, obviously. So the A's are within, you know, a game and a half of the Angels.
Yeah, they're right there. I could see them. They could overtake them.
But
The Astros are on their way to a wild card. They're turning it around. They're 31-38. They're on their way back. So
well, I still think that the Astros, the Rangers, who are 32-35, and the Diamondbacks.
Is that amazing? How bad that division is? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's that whole division. Only the Mariners are above 500, and they're only 10 games over. But you know, I think the Mariners are actually performing how everybody expected them to be, above 500 and going through the season. But Texas and Houston being bad is not what people expected, especially not Houston. I mean, Texas went on a torrid pace in the second half last year, as did Arizona, and Arizona is 32-35 as well. You know, they just played in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they didn't really lose much.
What do you think about a team like the Colorado Rockies that are now going on their fifth year in a row of losing over 87 games? They're going to lose 100 again this year. But what do you think about that? Why is a team like that? Colorado's a great place to they have a great ballpark. If you're a pitcher, it's a place to go. They never seem to win.
In Colorado, you want to be a pitcher?
No. I mean, I'm sorry. I meant the other way around. It's a great place to be a hitter, and I would think they would be able to draw some people over there. But nobody wants to go, and they can't seem to get good. I'm not really a West Coast guy. I would love our Giant friends to come on to dial in and tell us what they think of the Colorado Rockies. But and look at the Diamondbacks.
And the Rockies also don't spend money. They used to, and they got nothing for it because they tried to buy pitchers. You know, Hampton and Nagel and a whole bunch of other guys that they tried. And, you know, remember Hampton? Oh, they have great school district. But, you know, Denny Nagel and a couple other guys they tried to bring out there. And it just doesn't work. I don't know why it's not working out there. It's an odd little thing, and their hitting isn't as good as it used to be either. And that's what's funny. You know, if I was a pitcher, there's only 3 places I would sign as a free agent. It would be San Francisco, the Mets, and the Padres, because those stadiums are so hard to hit in. And the Padres, you know, even the Mets moving in their fences like they did, it's still a hard place to hit a homer. It's just a hard place to hit a home run. And what's with the Pirates? Again, same as last year. They gave Shelton a contract extension, and he's a great guy from our first camp where he ran Yankee camp. He's a great guy, but you know, they started out hot and then they went back to the mean. And even with Skeens, who is a big story in baseball, he's, you know, they're still 32-35, sitting at the bottom of the division. Again, they're only a half a game or a game out of the third wild card. So they're in the hunt, but, you know, a little early again. But the Pirates can't put it together either, and they have a gorgeous stadium. Are you making believe you're frozen? Because you're blinking.
You're frozen. You've been frozen for 15 minutes, for God's sake. Now, there he's gone. Oh, he was so nice. You were gone for a moment. My friend is back. Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, Colorado, Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm sick and tired. I mean, you know me. I'm a big fan of contraction. Colorado, Pittsburgh, not as much right now, but Marlins, the Rays, these teams that can't draw fans, the A's, as much as it's sad for me to say, there's so many bad teams, and there's you
Well,
know,
look at the entire
yeah, it makes the
National League.
wild card fun,
Look at
but
the whole National League, man. Everybody. The you've got the Nationals, the Mets, the Marlins, the Cubs, the Reds, the Pirates, the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and the Rockies under 500. It's
you would
amazing.
have been
It's
better off. You would have been
75% of
better
the
off
league is
saying
under.
you would have been better off saying that the only teams above 500 are the Phillies, the Braves, the
Yeah,
Brewers, the Dodgers, and the Padres. There's
that's
only five
yeah. I know.
teams above 500.
It's amazing. And meanwhile, the Yankees have this powerhouse right behind them. You've got three teams. You've got the Central. The Detroit Tigers are barely under 500. And the reason why everyone's beating up on the White Sox. Um, but the
Yeah, but
White Sox against the Central are what are they doing against the Central? God Almighty! The
well, the
expansion.
Yankees are 19-2 against the Central this year.
Yeah, the
And
White
they
Sox
were
are 5-19 against their own division.
right, but the Yankees are 19-2 against the Central. The Yankees are 8-8 against the East, against the American League East, and 19-2 versus the Central. So for a while there, everybody in the Central, except for the White Sox, was above 500, but that's because they were all beaten up on the White Sox.
I would like to see the Yankees go into Boston and kick some Red Sox toches. What do you think? 2 out of 3?
Well, let's see. They got Heel pitching tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
Rodon pitching on Saturday, and does that mean who
And
pitches on Sunday? Is it
Stroman.
a little
Stroman.
Stroman?
Stroman.
So they've got the three pitchers, their top three starters pitching against the Red Sox. Red Sox have been playing some decent ball, although they're 5-5 in their last 10. They're better than people thought they were going to be.
Yep, but it's early. I
So
still think Tampa. I think
I think
Toronto.
the two surprise teams to me are the Guardians and the Brewers. The Guardians because I think they do it with mirrors because they really just have Ramirez and I don't know what else. They have a couple other guys, but some guys have been hurt. And then the Brewers, they traded away their closer last year, the best in baseball. They
Their
lost
best pitch.
Williams for most of the season this year, and then they traded away Burns, and then there you are. Look at that, Milwaukee Brewers, 7 games up on the Cubs at 40-28.
Made.
What's going on?
Made.
And they lost their manager. And they lost their manager.
All right. We have something. I do want to say one other thing that about this season that's weird. There's one thing that we don't talk about a lot, and it is the uniforms. The uniforms in baseball. Interesting story. Apparently, they have annoyed enough players that that the league is going to league is going to make an adjustment. We're hearing that's coming any day, and I'll tell you why. Because take a look. If you can see this.
It's a very black screen. Oh, look,
Yeah,
Adam.
I
That's
know.
why they get uniforms. They all look like you.
That's the ticket. This is my all-time favorite. Come on, get out of the way.
Why are you putting your computer in the way? Get out of there.
There it is.
What are we looking at besides somebody touching their toes, which I can't do?
This is the uniforms of today's game. I mean, it's a little bit hard to see, but we're seeing this poor man's tush and whatever is actively involved there because he's wearing these pants. The
Well, it looks like
uniforms are.
looks like we're looking at the back of a male cow. It's an impressive.
That's something, and I have
It's
to
an
say,
impressive stack he's got there.
I don't think that that Major League Baseball really wants, and the players want to show that kind of level of detail.
I don't. You know what? Whether the players are comfortable or not, that's the players for them to decide. But
a couple other things: the players are unhappy, and I have this from inside information. The staff is
the
unhappy.
staff is really unhappy.
They're unhappy because they have to do more laundry than ever. They say that Rodon needs to change his uniform 4 or 5 times in a game.
Yeah, but did you listen to the game the other day when Jeff Nelson was talking about CC Sabathia? Rucco does his podcast with Sabathia. Sabathia said that he used to use a new uniform shirt and a new hat every inning.
Yeah.
Which Nelson then said, how does he fold and form his hats? And Rucco said he must sit around every day in the offseason and every day wears 2 or 3 hats and firms them up. But Sabathia, and that's with the old uniforms where the sweat wasn't, going through like it is now.
Mhm.
Although the sweat's supposedly wicking away from the players' bodies.
Yeah,
But it's also
they hate
making
him.
things
They hate
visible.
him. The teams hate him. The expense is a problem. Of all they're constantly cleaning. It's talk to any of these clubhouse guys, they can't be
Yeah,
thrilled.
I
So
agree. I mean, if the players are unhappy and the clubbies are unhappy, then you should change the uniforms. That's really what it comes down to, is that the players don't like them and the clubbies don't like them.
the numbers also, the names are too small, so they're going back to larger names.
Well, they
The
shouldn't
names,
have names on the jerseys in the first place. Screw them
you're
all.
right, but you're correct. But they've gone to what's odd is they decided on a single font. They all look the same, which is very weird because teams have different
Right.
colors. But if you look at the fonts on all the rear of the uniforms, it's not. It's weird. Numbers don't look right. Numbers look too small. It's just it's a bad decision. And by the way, great news that we learned that Judge was essential to the Yankees going back to their classic style this year, which we talked about in the show in the past.
Which is
Judge
the road grays.
the road grays. He liked the way it looked during the
It,
big series.
it's
And
a much better look.
hey,
It is.
speaking of a friend of the show, we've got Jameson Arthur Schneider here.
Go Brewers.
Go
Why
Brewers.
don't you go out and practice driving since you're 30 years old and finally learning how to drive? What's
Almost
wrong
got
with
his
you?
license. I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
Jeez, what's wrong with you that you don't want
You
to
should have
drive?
seen him last night at practice. He pounded some. He went to a practice with us. He threw batting practice to all the kids. It was fun. It was good.
I threw 120 pitches.
He's
Yeah,
good
120.
boy. All right.
That's nothing.
That's nothing.
Man
All
your
right,
age
so
should be
it's the end of the show here, Michael. One thing I want
Thank
to touch
God.
on, though, maybe you have something, but Jeremiah Estrada. How about this? Have you heard about this guy? He struck out 13 guys in a row, which I think is a great statistic for an unusual.
Is he playing in your league or my league?
He's with the Padres in the real league. He's actually a ball player. Struck out on May 23rd, 5 Reds in a row, 26th, 5 Yankees in a row, including Judge, and then a 28th, 3 Marlins to break a record. Nobody's ever struck out 13 in a row before. Very cool.
He's their closer.
And
Hader's been stinking up. See their closer now because Hader's been inconsistent.
Yeah, there it is. So hey, good fun show. A little unusual, not our usual vibe, but
it was like one of our phone calls. We were all over the place.
All over the place. All right. Speaking of all over the place,
goodbye, Dan.
And folks, we want to thank you for participating. Robbie, thank you so much for sending in a great question. And
I do have something. Our friends Robbie Lanterman and Big Juicy, as well as Jeff Jones, Rob Weber, who am I forgetting? Terry Lee, are all traveling.
They're going.
They're all traveling. They're going to Washington, Baltimore, I think Philly, and then I think Terry Lee's going to New York.
Oh, really? We should get together with Terry. What do you think?
Terry and his significant other, who we like better than Terry, because why wouldn't we? I think are taking in some Broadway shows. And Rob Lanterman, much to my happiness, Rob Lanterman feels the same way about Broadway shows as I do. When he said he doesn't like Broadway shows, I said, well, why don't you like Broadway shows? And he said, what's with all the singing? Who goes through life singing? I gave Robbie a big hug because I don't understand that either. I understand that there might be a song in a show, but why would you sing every line in your show? It doesn't make any sense.
I'm a musical guy. I do like musicals. Not all of them. I don't like the ones where they turn and sing and talk to the audience. I don't like. I like stories. I like something like West Side Story. Fantastic. Great.
Yeah, well,
great.
that's like saying you like Oklahoma and Guys and Dolls. Come on, you're thinking about some of the 5 best shows ever. So
I don't know.
Whatever. Well, that sounds like a different show
Chicago
for us.
Annoys me. I'm sorry. I'm like the only person who doesn't like Chicago.
I don't like Chicago. Listen, I was able to tolerate Book of Mormon only because it was funny. But why are they singing?
I know. Anyway, we're gonna leave now. We want to sing our ending of our show.
No.
Bye. So long, everybody. Have a great one. Thank you, Michael. It's always fun. The joy is always